I welcome you to yet another episode of How to Find God. It's brought to you by Eckankar, the path of spiritual freedom. My name is Ijoma Wankwo, and I'm pleased to be your host on today's episode. Today we'll be looking into the topic, how to experience divine love in our lives. Well, I have two fine gentlemen. They are members of Eckankar. First is Oshoke Isewa.
Thank you, Ijoma.
Welcome, Oshoke. And also Maxwell Adoki.
Thank you, Joma.
You're welcome,
It's my pleasure
Max.
to be here.
Pleasure to have you.
Can help expand your awareness.
Singing hymn can help you experience divine love. Singing hymn can heal a broken heart.
Singing hymn offers solace during times of grief.
Singing hymn can help bring peace and calm.
Now we'll start with you, Max. What exactly is the nature of divine love? Love is a word that every individual can relate to, but when you speak about divine love, what really does that mean?
Well, Sri Harold, the Mahanta, the living egg master, the spiritual leader of Eckankar, defines divine love as that merciful love with which God looks upon all creation. Okay. Now, the Sharia Kisugmod, the holy scriptures of Eckankar, our own Bible, also says that soul exists because of this divine love. Okay. There would have been no life forms on any of the planets. Everything would have been barren. But because God loves life so dearly, it allows soul to exist. And everything that exists is as a result of this divine love of God for soul. To help soul to find liberation and spiritual freedom. Okay. And this divine love is both ways. It's the love of God for soul and the love of soul for God. It's like a two-way traffic.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Max. Oshoke, do you agree?
Of course, I do. For me, it's building on what Maxwell shared. Okay. Divine love is like the language of life. He talked about divine love being that thing that brings about life. Mm-hmm. Language is the words, the expressions we use in our everyday world to communicate. I found that for all of life, regardless of tribe, whether it's a pet, love always still allows you share a message, whether it's my dog at home, that I just moved into a new place and then I'm trying to make a connection with this dog, and it's a little bit of token of love goes a long way, and I start to see the dog wagging its tail. I'm communicating. So for me, divine love is a language of life.
Amazing. Well, it's interesting. You both agree that love is the essence of life, and like you said, Max, soul exists because God loves it. But if divine love is the essence of life, why is there still so much suffering and strife and challenges to face if we all have this divine love? Max?
Yeah, that's why we're here. Mm-hmm. All the suffering, the good, the bad, everything is here to make soul, to learn to be purified. The lessons of life are there for soul. The lessons of life are an expression of God's love for soul, so that soul can pass through these experiences and be purified and become free to join God again in its abode.
Fantastic. Interesting. Oshoke, do you share that perspective?
Yes, yes. And it can be tricky sometimes to remember, you know. Life can be challenging. Yes. I think one of the interesting ways I've found to bring myself back to that state of love is humor. And it's interesting, that word humor, because it takes two phases for me. Humor, laughter, and hue, more. Where hue, the first part of the syllable I just said, is a love song to God we use in Eckankar to share this love that God has given to us. Just send it back out there. So hueing more, giving more love, and also remembering to not to take life too seriously, you know. Just laugh a bit,
yes,
a little bit of laughter.
Amazing, humor. Nice pun there. So Max, Oshoke just mentioned about the hue. I've had several guests come on this program to give their own perspective of what the hue is. I'd like to hear your perspective.
Okay, the hue is the holy and sacred name for God. Okay. It is soul's love song for God. In fact, it's everything that is made of the hue, the voice of God. And when we sing it, by placing attention at the spot between and a little bit above the two eyebrows, maybe half an inch into the skull, what we call the spiritual eye. Okay. And we sing it with love and reverence. Okay. Our heart center opens, the heart opens to love, to this divine love of God that comes into your heart and gives you the ability to express same love to all God's creations. Okay. That's what the hue is and does.
Thank you for sharing your perspective. Oshoke, can you demonstrate this form of spiritual exercise?
Sure, I can. So, to sing the hue, I'd first off sit. I'm comfortable now, you know, because sometimes when you're in love, you just go. So you need to be relaxed. And then I think of something I love. Most often, it's the Mahanta, the spiritual leader of Eckankar. And I put that picture at the back of my head, and like Maxwell shared, put my attention between my two eyebrows, close my eyes to avoid distraction, nothing extra. Because you know, a lot can happen within a short space of time. And I sing the word hue. If you're not used to the word, if you just close your ears, you'd hear it inwardly. So just that same sound. Hue. An example of me doing this would be and just keep singing that. It's kind of like, you know, you're in love with someone and you want to express that emotion and you want to do it with a poem,
okay,
a series of words or a song. That same feeling.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Now back to you, Max. So speaking still of the hue and its relationship with divine love, because you had mentioned that when you sing the hue, it opens you up to divine love. Do you have any experiences to share as to how the hue has opened you up to divine love?
Yeah. So numerous, but maybe I can just share one. Okay, please do. Now, not too long ago, I was in my office at the Temple of Ek, Port Harcourt, okay, and then I sang hue and allowed my heart to open to love. And then for a few minutes when I finished, focusing attention on the Mahanta, the living Ek Master, as he said, I was open to this divine love, and God showed me that everything that is made in life by God was made for my own good. The good, the bad, the wicked, the comfort, discomfort, everything was made for my own good. And as I was driving home, I focused my attention on this love of God for me. And as I was driving, I saw even the drivers, abusing one another, the road users abusing one another, the laughter, the landscape, the animals running across the street. I saw this as God's love for me, the entire landscape. I was going to drop my family at home, and after dropping them, I went for classes again on Sunday. And I continued this practice of opening my heart to this divine love as an exercise. The result is that up to this moment, whenever I come out of my gate, all the children along my neighborhood will run across and shout, "Big Daddy, Big Daddy," just to have a hug. Even the toddlers who are not able to walk will urge their parents or their adult relatives to please bring them to me for a hug. And I see this as the return of the love that I was sending into life. You know, so it's whatever you send to life. If you give love to life, life will reward you with love. And that is God telling you that you are his child. That is how divine love works. It works like a two-way traffic.
Okay, amazing experience you share, Max, and thank you for sharing. Well, we'll go on a short break now, and when we return, we'll look more into the ways that we can actually recognize divine love in our lives. Please stay with us.
Singing hymn can help expand your awareness.
Singing hymn can help you experience divine love. Singing hymn can heal a broken heart.
Singing hymn offers solace during times of grief.
Singing hymn can help bring peace and calm.
You're still watching How to Find God, brought to you by Eckankar, the path of spiritual freedom. We've been discussing the topic, how to experience divine love in our lives. Our guests in the studio have expressed how the hue has helped them open their hearts to experiencing more of divine love. Now, Oshoke, before we went on the break, Max had just shared an experience on how he was able to connect the hue to enable him experience divine love. Can you share an experience on how you have been able to recognize divine love in your life?
Thank you, Joma. So it's interesting the story Maxwell shared because it's very similar to mine and we live very far apart. So I like to call this story depositing love. You know, like you said, you sing hue, you're putting it out there and then life just brings it back to you. And so I grew up in Lagos, then for work and school and service, I did this in the north. And I enjoyed the north. It's very peaceful. There's not a lot of negativity out there. Someone is talking to you, you're maybe overtaking someone. You're spoken to kindly in a way. When Lagos, it's as if they want to beat you with their words. And then with the car horn and everything, so much, I won't say violence, but it feels like it. And so I almost always want to go back to the north. Until work kept me in Lagos. And I kept wondering, how can I make the most of it? And I remember the law of karma. What you sow, you reap. And I'm a very practical person. I studied physics in school, so I believe in experiments. You know, you come up with a theory, you try it out and see how it works. And so I said, okay, let me do my own experiments. And so I decided to start depositing love. When I'll go out in the morning, anybody at all, the man pushing the dustbin truck, a trader, anybody, good morning, with so much love I would do. Bike man, good morning, and I would say it with, sometimes the people who I would say this to look, who is this? Is this one normal? And I kept doing this. And I noticed that on days when I'm feeling really down, maybe bank alert did not come at the time it was supposed to come, I'll just be walking really sluggishly, and then someone would just walk past, good morning, I'll be like, wow, you know, it just comes back. And I took it a step further. I now decided to name this my experiment, the good morning and the thank you experiment. Because when you move in Lagos and you don't have a car, you have to go into buses. And buses have a very peculiar state they're always in. Like you're so choked up with people, you pay the conductor, you have to beg for your change, the driver will want to drop you, and then you've not come down, he's already moving. So you have to jump down. It feels like you have to learn acrobatics to move in Lagos. So I decided to also use my experiment, try it. Pour in love, deposit love. As I would enter the bus or a keke, and I'll greet the driver, good morning. I'll pay the conductor, good morning. I'll greet the next person beside me, good morning. And I start to realize things change. And there's a rule, unspoken rule. When you pay in the bus, first person who pays collects change. But in my case, it was different. I'll pay, everybody will pay, and I'm sitting at one corner, and then I'm the last person to pay. But the conductor will always give me change first. And when I want to come down, the driver will wait. I'll come down gently, and then bye-bye. And everybody, it just kept happening. I started to realize that, yes, when you deposit this love, it comes back. And I start to see that it's like a loop, consistently. Singing the hymn made me open to this awareness, remembering the law of karma, getting that realization that, oh, I can try it out. I can give out love, sow love, and then I'll reap it back. And it keeps working for me.
Fantastic experience. I'll definitely be trying that out. Max, any experience to share on recognizing divine love?
Yes. There are so many experiences. Now, in my house, the air conditioner outdoor unit is on the first floor veranda. Okay. 2 pigeons, male and female, decided to colonize the air conditioner and made me to wait until they finished laying their nest, because they laid the nest inside the outdoor unit, and there was no way you put on the air conditioner inside and not disturb the livelihood, the love shared by 2 birds. Ordinarily, any person would have gone either to catch them and trap them in a cage or chase them away. But we agreed, my wife and I, and we also told the children, please allow these birds to finish and hatch and go. Because the presence of those birds showing you that they are not afraid of you is showing that they are expressing this divine love to you. So we waited until these birds finished, hatched, and took their babies and left before we called in a technician to come and service it for us to use. Like I said earlier, divine love must be recognized as soon as it comes, and you give it up. These birds were there giving us love, and we also must reciprocate. As he said, we must reciprocate this love to these birds. Why did they choose? There are trees in the yard, in my compound. Why did they choose that air conditioner? This is also a testing of your ability to give back love to God. Like I said earlier, we are here to learn from situations, gain purification. Are you able to give back to life? Be it birds or other animals, plants, do you water them? And your fellow human beings. If you can give to the lower form, I'm sure you can give to fellow humans. That is one experience of divine love. And there's so many experiences on a daily basis.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Mask. And it's interesting that Oshoke mentioned about his experience with his dog, and also that experience being a source of divine love. And now you've also spoken about birds. So it's interesting, even to animals and plants. Why should we even bother at those sources of divine love as well? Animals, plants?
Yes.
Okay.
You remember that everything that was made was made by God for soul's existence. There would have been no life if not for soul. Those animals are also souls. That's why they are alive. What makes them alive, even these plants, are soul. Anything that has life means that soul is residing in that entity, be it a bird, fish, animals, or humans. Soul is residing there. And so it is the nature of soul to give love back to life. It's inherent in our nature to give love. And it is your duty, you and I, to bring out this inherent nature and express it on all God's creation. That is the way you can, if you say you love God, then you must love every creation of God. That's the only way to love God, to love back His creation. That's why we express it to lower forms, and amongst ourselves.
Very interesting perspective there on reciprocating divine love, even in plants and animals, and of course, obviously, to our fellow humans. Oshoke, do you have anything to add to that?
I think Maxwell hits all the right notes, and you see when this happens and you give this love, you see the way the people learn. And so I got a gift a year back for my birthday, 3 plants. And so on this day, the one outside my door, I came out and I sat down, I was cleaning the leaves, because I realized that if I pour water directly, it doesn't necessarily give it as much moisture as it needs, because the leaves are dusty. So I took my time cleaning it, cleaned all the leaves, and it's a very leafy plant, so it took me some time. And when I was done, I was just getting this nudge. Why are you wasting your time cleaning leaf? You don't have work to do, ba? And I finished and I went in, and then I would water it and all that. I didn't notice that people were learning from this, because now this is me giving love and getting that love. Because when I come back home and I'm climbing up my staircase, that plant greets me. It feels like I just passed it and all those worries just drop. And so this is like he shared, but now it even extends. It goes past that singular interaction to people around. My neighbor was like, you want to leave us? When I wanted to leave that compound, and you want to leave us? Who now be cleaning your plants? Who now be watering them? And in that moment, I was like, oh, she saw this as a way that love was being given. And for her, might have shown her one way to maybe take care of her own plants or something else. Someone can sit down and clean plants like this. Why am I not doing something that has to do with love? Maybe cleaning my house, taking care of my children. I don't know what it is, but I could feel that in that sentence, you're living. How would we see this expression of love now?
Amazing, amazing perspective. Now, Max, speaking of all these experiences that have been shared, how really has your life changed as you've experienced divine love and recognized it in your life?
One of the greatest impacts of divine love in my life is freedom from fear of untimely death. Now, even before I joined Eckankar, I used to be very devastated by the fear of untimely death. And then, a few years into Eckankar, I actually, applied for a meeting, what I say. I urged the inner master, the Mahanta, to please do something to take away this fear. And indeed, I was taken out of my body and shown love as the only solution to move away this fear. And then in that experience, I was also told the day, the year that I would translate what you call death. And I was asked, do you accept? And I said yes. From that day onwards, the fear of death, though it was not completely over, but it was minimized until one day, sometime in 2001, I was actually concluding the construction of my hotel. And as I drove, I was having this premonition of death. If I die today, what will happen? If I die today, what will happen? Suddenly it began to drizzle, and I decided to run back to go and cover the fresh concrete work at the hotel. And when I finished, it was already drizzling. As I wanted to walk into the building, thunder and lightning struck me. I was pinned to the spot. I couldn't move. In just less than 1 minute or 60 seconds, I was going. With a shock, this electrocuting shock with this burning sound on the top of my head. Then I remembered the meeting I had with the inner master, remembering the date and year. And I said, it is not time. So I shouted, not just chanting, shouted one loud, you, and the thing pushed me out of the alignment of the lightning. I staggered in, singing a lot of I don't know how many times per minute, but I was able to use that realization that it is not yet time to, move away from there. It's all a matter of consciousness. If you are conscious of what is with you or what has to be, which divine love has made for me, possible for me, there are sort of a lot of experiences of near-death experiences. And this recall that it's not yet time has always moved me out of that death situation. I'm now no longer afraid of death. Even if somebody shoots a gun at me, I will not, as long as it is not that day, I will not be afraid to die.
Thank you so much for sharing that experience, Max. So Shoke, what are your final thoughts?
I would say love more, deposit more love so you can have more love.
Okay, fantastic. Max?
Well, all I have to say is sing you, love all life, enjoy life, and love will come back to you.
Thank you. It's been an amazing time listening to all the stories you both had to share today on the program. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you too for being with us on today's episode. We've been discussing how to experience divine love in our lives. Until we come to you, same time, same station next week, it's bye-bye from me.